That's why I love. That's why I love this. I can just put this little filter that stops my redness.
That
That
didn't help.
didn't do anything.
That didn't do anything at all. Let's turn the lights all the way off, like B said. I'll sit in the dark. My family will come home from Dylan's basketball game and wonder what I'm doing.
I wish I could pull up the movie I'm talking about.
Other than the camera shadow on your chest previously, the light.
What's it called when you? Maybe this is not okay anymore. I think it's fine. What's it called when you're a Caucasian guy but you don't have any skin pigment and you're like
Albino?
Albino. Yes, thank you. There's this movie where this guy is albino and he has no hair.
Powder.
Huh?
Powder.
Yes, that's what somebody Google Powder the movie if you don't know what I'm talking about. We're doing a late start, apparently, which we probably shouldn't do because I have some surprises that involve other people. So let's get this going, Brandon, if we can. I can't hear shit, Brandon. A monologue, a serious monologue. Ladies and gentlemen, my esteemed 401k brethren and sisters, I stand before you today not merely as a spokesperson, but as a beacon of vision and leadership, imploring your unwavering commitment to the cause. The 401k industry teeters on the precipice, a shadow haunting the very sanctums of our profession. Change is afoot. Not the change that we seek, but a malevolent, transformational fueled by evil corporations. A greed that finds fruition in the impersonal and unfathomable evil plans of corporate behemoths. Born in the privileged confines of dark wood-paneled conference rooms, this insidious subjugation, I hope I said that right, undermines the very essence of our calling. Worse still, it thrives on the fruits of our labor, our toil, our sweat, and yes, our tears. The issue now escalates as corporate giants, pressured by disruptive upstarts, squandering venture capital in unsustainable ventures, seek to replenish their lost revenue. A race to the bottom ensues, and the solution is glaringly apparent. Remove a piece integral to the board. Remove an integral piece of the board. Once a partner, perhaps forgotten as a producer, but now conveniently labeled an advisor. Remove this key piece, and with it, extract 10, 25, nay, 50 basis points. My brethren, let not their current narrative charm you. They proceed with caution, making incremental moves almost imperceivable to the naked eye. A subtle erosion of your worth until the future finds you at a precipice, value lost, and a metaphorical knife protruding from your back. The record keeper triumphs, and sadly, the advisor is no more. To stand united is not merely a strategic imperative, it's a moral fucking obligation. In our unity lies the strength to weather the tempest of financial uniformity. I implore you, place your hand upon your heart, close your eyes, connect with your higher power, and repeat after me. Put your hand on your heart, Chad. Justin, put your hand on your heart. Hold your hand.
Close my eyes too? Okay.
Everybody in the chat bar, put your hand up. And repeat after me. Let us not be divided. Let us rise
not be divided.
above. And I'm just inside your head, Chad.
Okay, got it.
Let us rise above. Let us forge an indomitable front against the commodification of our industry. Power be to the advisor. Let the advisor stand victorious at the end of this battle. proud and vindicated. This is our industry, not theirs. Let it be known, I implore you. Employ you? I implore you.
True.
Let it be so. Brandon, play headlines. Let's go.
Amen, JD. Amen.
I never liked that song, but it's kind of growing on me now. You hear it like 100 times and you start to get into it. The
Wish
article
I could say that about your monologues.
the article titled Shifting the 401k Balance from Napa.net. Yes, I'll drink for that. Written by Nevin Adams is an interesting little article indeed.
Those bananas?
They're popping bananas like popcorn. That was cool.
It is it's about the company IBM and a plan design
Gotta be,
shift.
right?
They're
Yep.
getting rid of their match and replacing it with a cash balance plan. When I first saw that, I was like, wow, this sounds interesting. But you know what? Instead of just having us talk about it, what do you say we bring the actual writer of the article? Let's bring Nevin
Nah.
Adams on the show, shall
No,
Nah.
nah.
we?
Nah.
Move over,
Nah.
Chad. Or is he going in? Oh, never mind.
Ooh, Nevin's gonna be on our shoulder.
Yes.
As good
he's
as it
gonna be up
gets
there.
right there.
They're bringing him in. So yeah, it had me thinking, wow, this is interesting. Nevin, maybe turn your camera on or approve the little notification you got, Boomer. This is interesting. Maybe
What is okay, Boomer?
maybe even I was having maybe even cool thoughts of like, whoa, does this mean that like combo plans might be catching on? That might be really cool. Nevin, you called this replacement of the 401k match with a cash balance contribution as appearing to be unique and worth noting. Do you still feel that way?
Yeah. I mean, it's a big company. There's a little nuances going around here. First off, IBM's had a cash balance plan, has a cash balance plan. In fact,
Who drinks
that
for
they're gonna-
Nevin?
I'll drink for Nevin.
You gotta give me a caveat. I can't possibly
slow-mo.
say international business. I'm not even sure that's really their name
Oh, yeah,
anymore.
of course it
They
is.
Probably
Of course it is.
changed it into whatever. Anyway, so they already have a cash balance plan. So presumably, what they might be doing with meshing this all together is kind of unfreezing that current cash balance plan to sort of bring all this about. Now they avoided using the word cash balance.
Oh, really?
They used a different name, but honestly, I think it's just because the PR folks didn't know what a cash balance plan was.
Because you were confident enough to use it in your article.
Sure, because that to me, that's what it looks like. That's what it. If you look at the machinery, if you look at the way they've talked about the math on it, I mean, it looks like a cash balance plan. It smells like a cash balance plan. It quacks like a cash balance plan.
Okay.
It's probably a cash balance plan.
When I first looked at it, again, I was like, okay, wow, let me open my brain to this. Like, what's happening here? This sounds really interesting. Then you said this in your article. You said you called the replacement of the 401k match with a cash balance contribution as appearing. Oh, sorry. That's the same thing you told me. My bad. You said something to the effect of you don't have to be a cynic to think that maybe there's some kind of math involved here. And I think what you're leaning towards is maybe this isn't an increase in benefits, but maybe a pullback from the benefits in some way. Do you have any facts to back this up?
Well, okay, we'll start with this. IBM enrolling this out, and there we go again with IBM.
I got it.
They acknowledged that the benefit was not going to equate to what the full match would have been with their plan. So they're giving all of their employees a cash bonus at the first of the year next year to make up for that.
So
A one-time cash bonus, right? A
One-time cash
one-time, even though
bonus.
this is a year-over-year pullback in benefit.
Right.
Can we talk about other pros and cons? So I think something in your article said like, okay, well, a match forces you to defer to get the match, whereas a cash balance, you just have to meet eligibility. So you don't have to actually participate in the plan. But then you hammered that with a stat from IBM, which I'll drink on. You remember what
it's
that
kinda
was?
tough. No, I mean, look,
They already
This
have 97% participation.
Right. They don't need it for participation. That might affect their deferral rates. And that's the mystery thing. You don't know if people will contribute
interesting.
less because they're not getting the match anymore to provide that incentive. That's a possibility. They may very well look at this and say, well, as long as they're putting money into this cash balance plan, that's all I need to worry about. It's a defined benefit plan, right? In fact, did you see Teresa Ghilarducci got very excited at the return, the evolution of DC, like one more step in the path towards making your defined contribution plans is being more like a defined benefit plan by actually turning half of it into a defined benefit plan.
Now, did they mention if they're still keeping that open to everybody, or are they using a major carve out on the defined benefit side to not have to save those dollars? And
that's a great point. Like,
no, it's open. The cash balance, this new cash balance is open to everybody. And that's a potential advantage because there's only 97% participating in the
great,
in the 401k.
Great news for the 3% of people that was there. By the way, good kudos to international business fucking whatever for such a high participation rate. But you're right, Nevin. It might go down with this design. I don't think that's a shot in the dark. I think a lot of people might look at that and say, no, I no longer need to defer. Yes, Chad.
Sure.
Well, two things. Nevin, you made a point in your article that one of the things this may potentially accomplish is the fear that the defined contribution side can be pulled down much easier than the cash balance side in terms of benefits being pulled down. So there's some stability to the people that think of a pension plan as a more guaranteed type contribution. And the second thing, JD, the conversations I'm having constantly with businesses now that, well, moving forward, automatic enrollment is going to be in place, but so many of these larger firms already leverage automatic enrollment, is that we're almost going to see the death of the match, I think. I think you're going to see in a lot of the startup space, the match start to dissolve because people are going to be auto-enrolled or auto-escalated at 3 to 10% or in at 10.
When you say that, what size of company do you think you're pointing at? Like,
I'm going from the bottom up, JD. If you're going to see 90+% participation, why give a 4% safe harbor match when you could do 3% to everybody and leverage it in different ways?
Or just do a safe harbor. I mean, there's a lot of ways anymore. I mean, you don't have to use the match anymore to get the requisite level of participation. You might still have an issue with the deferral rates with your non-discrimination test. So that's maybe still there. I mean, the reality is we're going to have to see how this shakes out. I actually stumbled across this because one of the employees who was not happy about this managed to go and post it up on Reddit. That's kind of like what tripped me off.
Good for you. Good for you, little sleuth out there.
Well,
Retirement digging around. Can I bring up another con? I want to see what you guys think about this. In a cash balance, we all know the assets are pooled. So now I go from investing my own matching contribution from the employer. I get invested the way I want to per my risk tolerance. And now the employer contribution is in a pool and managed as a pool. And you're shaking your head. No, Nevin, enlighten me. Yeah. And I'd imagine a pool and a cash balance, we all know has to be invested, somewhat conservatively. So that's kind of a negative.
Chad, tell him how cash balance plans work with that notional value.
Notional rate of return. Yeah.
Yeah. So how it's actually just like a pension plan, the employer makes the investment decisions, but you don't have to worry about that anymore. If they come up short, it's on them. They have to make it up. They're giving
that's what JD's saying. He's saying is that the rate of return is 5%. Nominal, where other people want to try to strive for higher rates of return on the 401k side. Yeah. And also I'd like to say,
what's your rate of return on your notion? Go, keep going, Roby. Keep going.
No. Well, because Nevin, I think he's going on the same topic. I thought we were ending there. I have an argument back to Chad.
Well,
so
all I'd say is if you're good, no. Look, if you're good at investing, like some people on this panel might be, and if you want to do your own investment, as opposed to, I don't know, like just riding with a target date fund or something like that, there's absolutely a possibility that you could end up not doing as well with this kind of situation with the employer match as you did on your own. On the other hand, you can still manage your own money. You're only talking about the company match being jumped into the cash balance plan. And people have traditionally tended, when they have the option, to manage those pools of money differently anyway.
Yeah.
So if, as we keep hearing, people are really concerned about not having enough money, not having security, all this emphasis on retirement income solutions, this is arguably a step in that direction without going whole hog to, massive, bring in a new investment option in your 401k.
That's a great point.
I think it's awesome, by the way, in a company the size of international big men. I'd say it's really surprising in a lot of ways.
Well, it would be. Here's the really interesting thing, and you got to be an old guy and have been around a long time to appreciate this. IBM has a track record with cash balance plans. They terminated out their defined benefit plan years ago and turned it into a cash balance plan. And when they did that, they not only got employees in an uproar, they got sued.
Right.
They got sued, I think, 3 different times. One case got they won at the district level. Basically, an age discrimination suit. Why? Because on the defined benefit plan, as you get older, your accumulations would be faster, whereas in the cash balance plan, your accumulations are pretty level.
Wow.
But they lost that on appeal. But so anyway, what caught my headline was, geez, IBM, haven't you already had enough trouble converting things over to a cash
bold
balance?
Of them. That's a great question. We can end on this one, and let's ask the smart guy, and that's you, Nevin. Why? What can we think the motivation is here? Like, why did they wake up in 2023 and decide to do something like this?
I'm sure there were a couple of thoughts going on here, but I'm pretty sure it's because it's felt like this is a more efficient way for international business machines to spend their benefit dollars.
That sounds like a good answer. Like, that sounds like it's a positive, in the best interest of the participants type of answer.
And coming up with a 5% notional rate of return is a whole lot easier when interest rates are higher and the market can warrant it quite easily.
You think
that's exactly
motivated them?
I think it's a good timing. I mean, the thing that I think is kind of nuts is this sub notion that a lot of people writing about this have said, which is, now this is something like, could everybody do this? And they're acting like what you can do with a cash balance plan is brand new, which of course it's not. It's been very popular and growing in popularity. You all know this in the smaller end of the market for a long time, for a lot of the reasons that end up, it can be a better benefit for in the smaller employer kind of situation. Here, I'm sure IBM just did the math and figured out that this was a more dependable
Dustin, do you like how you and I haven't done one?
You're about to make me sad. I thought you were going to say when they did the math, you're going to say it was cheaper, but you're saying more dependable, more.
Well, that's in part what he's saying, but also we have to go back to what the consumer wants, right? And I think what we have seen with this push towards guaranteed income in retirement and how we're decumulating assets when we get there, people are excited about the thought of a guaranteed growth rate. People are excited about the term pension again, which they weren't when I started in this. The thought that my business is going to be making contributions for me that are going to be there, that are guaranteed, that are promised. There's value in that. And so if dem guys, like Samson said, if dem guys are saving money by bringing the benefit into a different level, but getting more bang for their buck by leveraging the terms and what people are actually looking for, one could look at it as a win-win.
Hey, and to Nevin's earlier points, if we did move in this direction, and we start, I always look at combo plans as like just something to benefit owners, because that's the type of cash balance plans we tend to design. But if we move towards one that was for everyone, it is kind of a nice little blend to have your 401k for deferrals and then have a cash balance attached to it. It gives you some of that kind of guaranteed income safety that Nevin was kind of comparing it to. So maybe there is something.
Yeah, JD, you should really start looking into that. That would be really cool if we had.
Trust me, if I do a cash balance plan in our company, it's going to be the first one I mentioned, the one that fucking pays me fat.
On the surface,
for sure.
It sounds great, but when you peel back the layers as the employee, these employees are taking less money now, which is going to contribute probably to less growth too.
They're getting a 5% pay bump though. in this first year.
Yeah,
one time
All
was
right.
clear to say, but anyways.
We got to move on. Nevin, thank you very much for spending a little bit of time with us. We appreciate it, and keep enjoying that retirement. But could you put in a little extra work from time to time? I feel like you're slacking in retirement. Okay? Like, come on.
I got to let Sully have something to do, you know?
All right. Tell them all we said hi back there at the corporate offices of the American Retirement Association. See you later, Nev.
Will do, man. Take care.
Appreciate you.
See you, buddy.
In other headlines, have you seen the 401k lady? She's gone on a tear. So much so that I had one video of hers I wanted to share today, and I swapped it out today for another one because I think it was today. She went fucking nuts on Dave Ramsey, which I love. There she is. She had talked about wanting to join us here today, just like Nevin did, but she has a young baby in her family, and she said it might be hit or miss. So we'll have to kind of discuss this one without her, it looks like. Unless you're somewhere in there in an alias, Jeannie, and I'm not seeing it, let me know. A caller calls into Dave Ramsey's show, which, by the way, he does a pretty decent job of. Let's not forget, this guy has successful books, huge podcast, big company.
Super entertaining, and
yeah,
for the most part,
yeah,
good content.
He's got 300,000 subscribers. This video I'm talking about has got 100,000 views. Anyways, this guy calls in and is like, look, man, I want to know about how much money I can take from my nest egg to live on. And he goes, I've done some research, and apparently it's like 4% withdrawal rate, which if you're an advisor out there, that's a pretty common industry number that gets thrown around. And he was asking, I'm kind of concerned because I heard other people talk about 3%. Well, Dave Ramsey loses his shit. And it's like 4%, 3%. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, and he goes on this fucking rant of like, I say 8%. And to back up his 8% withdrawal rate, he says, look, let's say you make $1 million, you got $1 million saved up in your nest egg. He goes, if I look back over history, we got 4% of inflation. He goes, so that's going to cut into 40,000 of your million. He goes, but if you look at the S&P 500, it's done like 11.8% over the last whatever year, some long time period. And he goes, so you're making 12% on your money if you're investing in the S&P 500. So there's a difference between that of 8%. He goes, take out 8%, $80,000 a year on your 1 million, and you're never cutting into your nest egg. He goes on to call the industry, the nerds out there, goobers and noobs and idiots and all these types of things because we keep preaching this 4% thing, and he's super upset about it. I don't know if Brand's got the clip ready, but I want to be clear that he's not a licensed financial advisor. He's just a celebrity type.
Dave Ramsey is a professional entertainer masquerading as a financial advisor.
Damn, Jeannie.
Jeannie.
So, before I keep going, like any thoughts from you guys on this little debate? And by the way, Jeannie's not the only advisor losing her shit. It's kind of like a trend right now. Like
my initial response, like my knee-jerk reaction to specifically to what she focused on, the 12% side of things, was the equity exposure that those people are supposed to be continuing to carry at the point in which they're starting to pull money out.
An S&P 500.
You want to be 100% in an S&P 500 achieving apparently a close to 12% rate of return when you have the highest balance of your lifetime and you need this money, and any pullback hits way harder now than it would have hit you at the age of 50. And you want to be 100% in the Standard & Poor's?
And if
like, oh my God, my mind was blown for a second going, okay, I got to think deeper about this, but that's just ignorant.
That's a great takeaway. And by the way, I suggest everyone go watch this if we haven't said it, like Jeannie's version. It's about 5 minutes and it's well worth it. And she makes that point, Chad. But she makes it further. She goes, Dave Ramsey, you make $30 million a year and your net worth is $250 million. So what works for you might not work for everyone else. You can go right ahead and invest all of your money in the S&P 500 because you got tons of money to lose, right? But someone else might not be able to do that. Oh, sorry, I'm praying for that. So that's a great point.
Thanks, Greg.
And to your point, Chad, That's not proper investment advice to ask. I would say anybody to be invested 100% in the S&P. Oh, I did it again. 500.
You did it 3 times before that too.
What happened to diversity? I'll drink 3 times. What happened to being diversified?
Well, yeah, and understanding someone's risk tolerance, and I get it. He's trying to make blanket statements that the vast majority of people can grab onto and maybe leverage in the production side of his show. But when you think about what he's actually telling them to do in that scenario, not only is the equity exposure an issue, but it's very clear that the biggest fear people have is running out of money. Like, that's it. How much can I pull out and guarantee I'm not going to run out of money? We're going to live longer. We're going to continue to live longer. And we need to continue some sort of equity exposure, but flipping the coin and saying go all in is going to create so much harm in those folks that are trying to reach that retirement. And they keep in mind, people that are calling into the show, they're not working with a genie. They're not working with a financial advisor. They're relying on Dave Ramsey and what he says publicly.
She got pissed about this because she said, Dave Ramsey, so many people follow what you say, and you're totally misguiding them right now, and that's a hazard. And so, one more time, like, please check it out. Jeannie's doing a great job. It's good to see her back in action. Apparently, she has babies, and now she just gets fired up. She likes to take it to the world. So,
when you're on limited sleep, JD. You know, you gotta anything can set you off, you know. But I think it always comes down to it comes down to those ideas too of just like consumer awareness. And I love that more than anything that Jeannie's pointing out, which most of us who work in this space kind of know the facts about Dave Ramsey. But if you're not necessarily knowledgeable and you hear that, looks polished, looks all so good. You know, good. There's things going. You're not going to understand the reality behind it, which I love the fact that she mentioned, you know, like playing a football game where the ref's only throwing flags against one team because he's in a camp where, yeah, no flags get thrown his way. He could say whatever the heck he wants with no ramification, where others have this succinct view of like, I have to do what's right because if I don't, I'm fucked. So
Roby,
I really liked that.
When I saw this, Jeannie gave me a link to go listen to Ramsey, and I went to it, and I was going there on behalf of Jeannie, like, fuck this guy, right? Let me hear the stupid shit he's about to say. And to your point, in the beginning of it, I'm like, he's kind of starting to win me over. I like it. He's so confident. He's talking all calmly about it. He's got kind of this little southern drawl. He's against the fucking big guy. And he's like, it doesn't need to be that hard. Let me show you the math. And I was literally like coming under his spell, I guess is what I could tell you. And then I had to shake myself out of it and be like, wait, his numbers are all wrong. Like, this makes no sense. So.
But you have to continue to understand anything you're seeing in the public light that has a massive following. They have it usually because what they're saying has some sort of extremist type approach to it, right? If he's always saying, follow every single financial practice that you see that's been proven on the internet,
or let me cut up,
tune into a show.
Or let's cut your credit cards in half. That's his extreme thing he'd do back 10 years ago.
Yeah, you have to be out there a little bit. You have to be pushing the edge. It's just like the news. You know, people, including myself, I don't watch the news because it is always one end or the other. Like they're putting all the bad shit in front of you, or they're putting so much love in front of you. And it's because the middle ground does not sell. The quiet majority does not get sold by that space. They get sold by the extremes on each end. And he's going to continue to say things that are a little risky to get followers and tuners.
And they also love to hear that.
Strange.
Go ahead, Justin.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go, bro.
It seemed really strange that someone as calculated as this guy would be that out of touch with his audience and what he's selling. To say, yeah, you can get 12% return, take 8%. It felt like it was one of those.
Okay,
hey,
maybe that
I'm going to stir up some controversy so I can get some people, more people following.
You want to hear some dirt? You want to hear some dirt on him? I have heard from people who have been around him in the workplace scenario that he's a bit of a fucking tyrant, that he's a little gnarly. So I know it's like hearsay. I obviously haven't seen it myself. It came as a shock to me because he's very focused in kind of the church-based world and everything. but I've heard he's pretty gnarly, like with the people around him, you know.
Hey, we're not here to spread hearsay. We're just commenting on a video. We don't have
100% facts on this show, right?
I don't know what kind of people he's got out watching these videos, so I'm just gonna say, you know what? Teach their own.
You and I are here for totally different purposes. Okay, let's go to the next headline. I'm here to fucking start rumors.
Burn the world, Mark. That's what
I did hear that though. I did hear that. The next headline is we getting some updates from Empower. 2023 small 401k plan sales from Empower letting us know that in 2023 they've done like 10 billion. And this is again is a very interesting article. I got lots to talk about here, but you know what? See that little name right there, the guy that wrote it? Let's just bring him on in to talk about it with us. Brian Anderson from 401k Specialist Magazine. Why don't you join us, sir?
Nevin made us drink a lot. Brian, please don't do the same.
Justin's got this one.
Yeah.
Quote.
Make him hammer, Brian.
Brian, turn on your camera, look for your notification. The quote, the small plan market is having a very good year, according to new data released by Empower. Brian, you wrote this. Empower. And Brian, welcome, by the way. That's very
good. He brought up beer. God, oh my gosh.
Nice.
You're already
ready to drink.
Yeah.
Colorado, we drink Avalanche.
Welcome to the show. And Brian, you do a far better job than Sully did on the podcast. And Sully was a piece of shit on this show. Like
Jesus.
So I'm assuming you're going to do phenomenal here. Phenomenal. So
he speaks for himself.
I got not a bad word to say about Sully, man. I love the guy.
You wrote Empower's advisor.
Fantastic.
Empower's advisor sold retirement plan business, which encompasses plans with up to 50 million in assets under administration, is seeing new organic growth and expansion to new areas of the market, according to insights released today. Can I ask you, and if you don't have an answer for this, maybe we can ask everyone, like, so does that mean that business above 50 million is not advisor sold by Empower? Like, it caught me off guard, like reading that sentence. I didn't quite understand it. Not to put you in the hot seat.
Yeah, I don't know about that but they were just impressed with their small plan. You know, it's up to 50 million in assets. They said there was 3,300 new small plans so far this year.
3,300 new, yeah.
They were under the 50 million assets. 800 of them, they said, were startups. And they said they kind of attributed that growth to Secure 2.0 and your favorite MEPs and PEPs.
And that's two for you.
And again, I'm not in a bad mood tonight. I got a little confused.
Oh my God.
What's going on? I got a little confused because I went to plansponsor.com and I looked at the rankings of the record keepers and I saw that last year Empower sold like 10,000 plans. I should find my numbers here. Yeah, like 10,000 plans. And I was confused. I was like, why are they celebrating a year and kind of pounding their chest on selling 3,300 plans so far? Granted, the year's not done yet. When last year they sold like 3 times that many plans. And then it dawned on me, and maybe the chat bar can help me out, is acquisition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have some.
Yeah.
So I said, shame on me. I found the fault in my own pathway. But then I went and looked at 2021 and 2022. In 2021, they did 3,779 plans. And in 2022, they did a very similar number. I'm not to be the asshole here, but it seems to me like they're having a pretty normal year for them. I don't quite get the chest pounding on everything. And by the way, is it chest pounding if Guideline's doing 15,000 plans a year and you're doing 3 to 4? Anybody answer for me?
I think those guys are just.
Jim says it.
Go ahead, Brian.
They're just happy about this whole release that they sent out was just about the small plan market.
I was going to say.
Yeah. So I think they were just trying to talk about that. They weren't talking about greater sales at large. So
sure.
They did the same thing in 2022, right? Like if I go back and look at 2022 sales, you all wrote an article in June of 2022 about what they had brought in year to date at that point. And it was different because they were in the mass acquisition and the merger of all of that during that stage. JD, if I try to put on my tinfoil hat and think about the timing of the release from Empower's perspective, they've been making a very conscious effort to get into the micro space. They really have. 800 startups was highlighted. This would match up. 5 million.
This would match up with what Brian's saying. So continue on, yeah.
And so I think that part of this was an effort to flex the muscles and say, look, we're in this startup space. We're in this small market space too. We're not just writing the large enterprise level plans. And then to your point, if you, at least in the research that I did on their release, their term of 50 million and under being advisor sold, I think is all they're distinguishing between is like enterprise level deals and deals that are driven by the advisor. Like north of 50 million, I think they're leading towards that it's usually an HR professional or a group of people within the business that are driving the request for proposal process versus the advisor driving.
I totally do not agree with that. I think
I'm telling you that's what I think I read in the way in which they're wording it.
Everything you said has been on point besides that one. That's crazy. Like that's the 60 million, 75 million, 250 million, 500 million, $1 billion market is still advisor driven plans. Like these are the ones that have them. I just find that really interesting. But I'm with you. I think it obviously was a micro small plan kind of announcement. They also very strategically, and Brian, you were behind kind of writing this and creating it. They quoted a notable TPA, and the TPA gave praise to Empower. I would drink for that. They also brought in Rick Wedge as an advisor. He gave promising, positive feedback about what Empower was doing. So I definitely saw this. And here I go, tinfoil hat guy again, but shame on me. I saw this strategy of trying to announce, like, look at us. Of course. We're TPA partners and we're advisor partners. We're doing well in this small market. So I guess my takeaway is we should all join in because Empower is doing such a great job.
Well, I'll tell you what, one of the things that they mentioned to me was that with the pool plans, they say that they ought to be driven by advisors and the third-party administrators with record keepers providing the back end and the tech and the participant experience, and that the most effective model, they say, has the advisor at the center of it. So that was kind of like part of the message they were trying to get through.
I feel like I'm pretty good at looking through the weeds and figuring out what the objective is. And JD, I told you this leaving the third-party administrator symposium in San Diego that I went to for Empower.
And you had met with Ken Monroe there, who's commented in this. Did I get his name right? Right?
Yeah.
Yep. He's quoted in this article.
I felt very strongly that they are committed to the advisor space. I felt very strongly that the thought of them writing direct business, the thought of them chasing rollovers, like, yeah, they're not naive, guys. We're on a race to zero in the record keeping space. Like they're going to find ways to be profitable and attract new business, but I do not believe they're trying to cut the advisor out. In fact, I think they are, to Brian's point, trying to put them front and center. I came back from that in full transparency, and I told our team, including JD, if we're not building business with Empower, we're going to fall behind. And I said that very confidently because I think that they are going to continue to shine in this space.
I think they have been a top 3 name for the last 4 or 5 years. Like they're definitely on the up and a very popular product. They've got a lot of flexibility. I totally get all of that. And I know we've kind of maybe thrown them under the bus with their personal capital acquisition and some of the kind of things we've heard coming out of there. And maybe they're kind of redirecting the ship a little bit. And maybe that's part of this article is let people know, like, look, man, like we're very friendly in this environment. But the article also talked about, Brian, that with 3/4 of the new plans are on this Empower Select thing. They called it a packaged off-the-shelf platform. They keep these things on shelves back there in Colorado, and then they take them off. They said they've seen significant growth within the managed account offering, reaching almost $4 billion. And then they got this thing at Empower that I think we've talked about on the show before, this dynamic retirement manager, which takes you from a target date fund in the beginning and then kind of automatically swaps you into a managed account as you kind of build your wealth more and get closer towards retirement. And they got 21 billion in this sucker, which is like almost 100,000 participants. So I'm with you, Chad. I think they're probably smart enough to know that the advisor is still crucial in kind of the production role and the distribution role. But my kind of rub with them has been they're looking to make revenue in lots of other ways. But I hear you. We've talked about this before.
They're all going to have to, JD. We've seen the race to zero. So if the margins are so thin, they can't continue to deliver service. And I said this with an advisor in SAC I was with, who's a stellar advisor. I said, look, we're now throwing in automatic enrollment on new plans. We're throwing in long-term part-time and tracking of that. And we're asking the record keepers to do notice fulfillment on this and to help the tracking and to create payroll integration relationships. We're asking them to do all this new shit, all while saying get paid less.
And
if they're going to keep going that way, they've got to find alternative ways of driving revenue then.
Just be careful. Let's go ways where they can make more revenue doing the things that they should do and not take total control over everything and let the advisors kind of stay in the
100%
driver's
on
seat.
board.
Brian, quick plug. I just found out today. I don't know when it came out, but you guys got a new issue out. Am I right?
We do. Yeah. It's
bam. All right, everybody. I've hold it right in front of your chest.
Yep.
So brand new issue of 401k Specialist magazine is out there, everybody. And I definitely perused through it. It's great stuff. Lots of stuff. I mean, my gosh, it's a very robust in terms of all the different topics that are in there. So check it out, everybody. You can digitally go to their website. You just go up in the top right to the little magazine icon and you can flip right through it in your very own home. And Chad gets some hard copy delivered to his house, and he keeps them on his bedside, and he has them on his bedside table at night.
Oh, that I do. I read them, but I go to every time I go to the conference, I grab them when I'm there, and that way I have something to read on the airplane flight home.
No doubt. We wish everybody would take them from the conference.
I have like 300 of the one where we are on the cover, just sitting at our office. Brian, thank you. I mean what I said. You're doing a great job with the podcast. You really are. Like,
I think we need him on as a regular guest, JD. I think he should come back at some point.
Yeah, like a regular every couple of months kind of thing.
It just seemed like more fun to make fun of Sully. Brian's so professional, but yes, we'll definitely have him back in 2024. And keep writing it, man. Just remember, every time you're putting pen to paper, I know that's not how you do it, but we are all out here as an industry looking for that content, waiting for it, hoping for it, and devouring it when we wake up in the morning. So just remember, your work is not wasted on us. So keep cranking away.
All right. Appreciate it, guys.
Buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Why don't we spin the wheel of ice? Let's spin the wheel of ice and see who the lucky winner is.
I didn't grab mine today, so if it's me, I'm in trouble.
Mark's got you.
No, I'll walk to the John Deere and get it.
Yes. That's what you get.
Hockey tonight?
Yes.
Sure do. 6 o'clock.
I'm gonna bring someone on to chat with us. We're gonna continue this.
3.
So good.
It's not a headline.
I like this.
It's just something I'd like to talk about. I'm thinking you guys might like this. It's been a long time, maybe, since you've talked with him.
Chad's gonna lose his shit.
Is it your dad? Is it your
Is it my
dad?
No.
No. Let's wait and see, Brandon. If you can.
Oh, I see it. I
bring
see
him
it.
in.
Good old
Have
Ricky.
an old friend.
Oh, the sultry voice of 401k.
We play the
Sorry to
intro real
disappoint.
quick.
Where is he? There he is. There he is,
There he
everybody.
is.
Mr. Rick Uner is in the house, sporting the quarter zip, looking good.
It's the new uniform.
Kind
I
of
know.
feel like you get younger each time you come on this show.
Right?
He does look good, doesn't he?
I think it's the lighting.
Must be life. It's the fact that he's relieved himself of having to record that damn podcast every Friday night. He's got a new look on life. We should do the same thing. I brought him in because I wanted to kind of pivot a little bit for us and talk financial advisor jargon a bit. And I I listen to a lot of financial podcasts that are outside of 401k. And in the current environment, with the Fed funds rate and recession looming, they talk about this yield curve and the inversion of the yield curve. And I got to be honest with you, the surfer in me originally was like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like now I understand that it has a lot to do with like these fixed securities type stuff. Mostly they're talking about treasuries. And for everyone out there listening in, I'm sure most of the advisors here know about it, but you've got these short-term treasuries, these like 3-month T-bills, and you get a certain yield on those. And then you got these 5-year and these 10-year and these 30-year, I believe they go out to treasuries, US treasuries, and they have a certain yield. And typically it's the shorter term ones that would have a smaller return, and the more you're willing to wait and put it out there in the future, you get a bigger return for a variety of reasons. But to put in kind of kindergarten sense, like if I was the lone robe guy, $100 today, and he's going to give it back to me tomorrow, I wouldn't expect him to like pay me any extra. Like I'm just giving $100. He needs it right now, needs it real quick, and tomorrow he's going to give it back to me. But if robe guy asks me for $100 and he wants to give it back to me in a year, I might be like, hey man, I'll give you $100, but I want a little something in return for giving that to you, AKA, God damn it, interest. And so that's kind of how this works. But when that yield curve starts to flatten and or go inverted, all of a sudden that whole story I told you flips upside on its head for a variety of reasons in our industry. Now, here's the fun part. And I might get this fucked up, so chat bar, please chime in, and or Mr. Unser here. I think in 5 of the last recessions, this has always happened. I think it's literally like 5 for 5. Like it has always predicted, or at least for every recession we've had, this happened right before it. And we're right in that spot right now. And a lot of people argue that we are not in a recession yet, but based on this inverted yield curve. So Rick Unser, is this asked of you, this concept? I mean, in your day-to-day work life, and how familiar are you with it?
Pretty familiar, but I would say where this is coming to roost in my world is we don't get a lot of questions about investments from plan participants, but we are getting questions of, hey, I just saw on TV the other day, I can get a 5.5% CD. Right. Where can I get that in my 401k plan?
Who's drinking for Unser?
I'll drink for Unser. Marcus.
Oh, he's got him. He's got a glass.
Oh, there we go.
So where can I get that in my 401k plan? Now, if you were brave enough and hung on to money market in your menu, you're doing fine. Those have come back to life.
Can I ask you guys who are on the front lines? Are there money markets and things now? Like back when I was selling, when's the last time you sold a plan, JD? Money markets were like 0. Sometimes if the wrap fee was too high, a money market would be like negative on some of those.
And most record keepers are pushing their own solution in that space, which potentially creates a drop in the asset charge. And so they don't want a competing fund in there. And so often leaving the money market in when there's a fixed solution or a guaranteed solution, it's not allowed.
Yeah, it's not an option. It's a competing fund in most cases, yeah.
But both those product types are paying more these days. Are you seeing it live in color in a menu in these record keeping platforms? You should, right?
Yep.
Well, so here's, I think, the challenging conversation. And I think for folks out there, you just need probably something you should be thinking about or be ready for in a conversation if it hasn't come up yet is, again, money markets have responded nicely because those are tied to the Fed funds rate, as JD, as you eloquently pointed out, the short end of the curve, right? That's raising very quickly. So money market rates have been going up over the last 2 years from next to 0 to, well, depending upon who you talk to, 4 or 5%, whatever it might be. However, you're also right. What most plans have in them now are some form of stable value, some form of guaranteed, whether that's a separate account fund, whether that's something that's based off the general account of the insurance provider that you're aligned with. Those rates are not going up nearly as quickly,
or a GIC,
or at all.
Well,
or a GIC, or a guaranteed
Rick?
interest contract. Well, a lot of them are tied to the bond market. So what you'll see as rates go up, prices of bonds go down. So I mean, the way that we try to explain like a stable value fund, for example, is it's essentially a 3 to 4 year maturity bond that's wrapped with an insurance product. So what happens when rates go up dramatically? Right. Bond prices go down. So as all of this happens in the background, you've got this kind of disconnect in the market where, bond prices are going up, but the value of those bonds are dropping. Now you're creating this big gap in market to book.
Dude, so Rick is out. Hey, I want to stop Rick.
For years now, Rick. I've been trying to tell.
No, Rick is actually outlining like a perfect kind of Chad's nuggets here, although it's Rick's nuggets, is that this happens a lot in 401k when in the retail space, they can get certain things. And so they come to their advisor in the 401k space and say, hey, I know I can get this. So why don't we have this in our 401k? And Rick, you're doing a great job of explaining. I don't know if the participant cares about your explanation, but
the participant cares when the employer comes back and says you can't have this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where, as an advisor community, I'm not saying stable value funds are bad, but when you come back and say, well, we've got this stable value fund, it's yielding 1.8% right now. Okay, well, hey, let's get rid of this thing. We want the money market, right? Hey, that's yielding 5%. Let's give them that. Well, now all of a sudden you've got market value adjustments, you've got put provisions, you've got all these other things that if you didn't do a good job explaining that on the front end, this is now a major reality that you're stuck with.
Is this, Rick, you told me your business has been going pretty well. Is this a conversion problem too? Are you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Are you 100%. Looking at, and you're kind of in that, you're in the bigger space than we are. So I don't know, 25 million north, and bigger than that, obviously. But so you really got to put your Sherlock Holmes on when you're trying to take over a plan and take a look at what they have in the fixed area and what that might mean in terms of a market value adjustment. Do you have any big plans that you we're looking at where this is an issue that you go, holy shit, what am I going to do here?
I'll give you 2 horror stories, and I won't name names. So we have one group that we've been working with this year. We're bringing 15 plans together, and it's a big project.
Mark, why don't you bring in business like this? 15 plans he's bringing in.
I was just going to say, thanks for the call, Rick. Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Rick.
I do, JD. I don't tell you about it.
Your moonlight.
So we're bringing these plans together, all sorts of record keepers where these plans are. Lo and behold, we're starting to get under the hood on some of these stable value funds pretty early on because we know this is going to be an issue. We go to one of the stable value funds. We knew that we were going to have some challenges, but we finally get the discontinuance quote. They're like, all right, this is about $15 million in the cash account. It's like, okay, we know this is not going to be awesome, but let's see what comes back. So they come back with 2 options for us. You can have an equal payout over 10 years that's not benefit responsive, or you can take 82 cents on the dollar as a market value adjustment.
On the 15 million. On the 15 million.
Can you not move in kind? Can you not leave that as a solution in the new chassis?
Wait, explain the first solution to the dumb surfer again. What did you say?
So it was essentially you can exercise a put, and that put will give you it's 11 payments over 10 years, but it's not benefit responsive. So you can't like call in and say, hey, I want to roll my money over, or hey, I've had a disability, or hey, I've been separated from service. I want to take my money out. So, your money is stuck for 10 years. So that was option number 1. Option number 2 was a market value adjustment at 82 cents on the dollar. In other words, a $2 million hit for this company if they wanted to make it whole.
That's $2 million that gets lost.
That's a $2 million hit for either for the participants or for the company. Yeah. So that's, right, live in reality happening right now. So hey, instead of merging 15 plans together, we merged 14 together and kept the other one separate.
Can my answer
run it as a separate plan?
Can my answer be to those options none of the above?
Yeah. Stay put.
Yeah. And that's what we did. We basically just said, hey, we're gonna keep this plan aside. We'll merge the other 14 together. We'll keep that one aside.
Or do you just take the rest of the assets and leave those assets behind, and then you just get someone to kind of record keep it for you?
No, that's a challenge with a lot of these stable value funds, is that once you stop the flows, they, most of the time that triggers the discontinuance element of it.
That's so interesting.
So you're stuck. So what we did is, again, like I said, we merged the other 14 plans, or we're in the process of merging the other 14 plans together, and we're just going to keep this as a separate plan outside the control group, or excuse me, as part of the control group, but outside all the other plans.
You'll umbrella test it, and
we're aligning all the provisions, but we're keeping everything active. So it's crazy. So the other one, real quick, but also related. Hey, stable value fund company slowly was kind of running out of steam, went out of business. So they finally said, all right, hey, we got to shut the plan down. We're terminating it. So, all right, tell us what's going to happen with the stable value fund. Hey, it's getting paid out, so there's no put, right? So it's only just a payout at market value. Anybody want to guess what the market value on that was?
No.
Wait,
No.
$1 million.
40 cents on the dollar.
Oh shit!
Whoa!
You can't do that. You can't do that. That's
You're
I guess
tied in.
you signed
Yeah.
contracts, right? You agreed to like these terms. That's horrible. I'll
Can
tell
you go, Rick, in that scenario, can you go to the individual and start encouraging transitions? You can't create a competing fund in there, so it's not like you can have another
even those
solution that's close to,
transitions,
but-
Chad, even those transitions tend to have handcuffs on them. Like you can only do so much at a certain
No,
time.
I didn't think at an individual participant level it was.
They
though.
can.
Yeah.
I've seen them for
Okay.
sure, where participants can only move a certain amount of money at a certain time from them. They're no dummies. To me, it's just you don't see that in the micro market. I mean,
Yes, you do.
You used
Yes,
to.
you do.
Okay.
We do. We're seeing a bunch of it right now. And that was the difference, though, I think, JD, between what Rick's explaining and what we are, is that often the record keeper will step up and buy out that balance. They'll increase the asset charge by 3 basis
record
points.
keeper.
Right. Yes.
The new
yes.
record
Yeah,
keeper.
but so
Isn't
here's the
that a
thing,
game though?
It-
That's a fucking
But
game.
it's a small number, right? It's 20 grand. They can handle that. You're talking $2
Yeah, but
million
Chad,
now.
can I interject here? But what ends up happening is like the wrap fee goes up or the pricing goes up. Like
So I said, it's like 2 basis points is
Yeah,
what they're
well,
throwing on there.
you're paying for
Yeah.
it. But
And the other thing to know too is some of those buyouts are limited. We've learned this the hard way. Some of these buyouts are limited by state regulations. So I think there's one that we were working on where somebody was willing to step up, but they're like, hey, we can only eat 7% of that market to book.
Yeah.
So if you've got something 85, 82, 88 on that market to book, you're still, I mean, you might close the gap a little, but you're still left holding a pretty big big deficit.
Here's my takeaway to kind of wrap this, because I'm going to go with Ed's advice here. This is depressing and we need to move on to
There's so much strategy in this, though. We ought to bring this up because this is the market we're living in right now from conversion standpoint.
That's kind of what I was just going to say.
Yeah, it's the participant that wants a higher yield, and if you've got a stable value fund, hey, you got to think through how you explain that to your plan sponsor, right? And it's again, I'm not stable value funds are fine, except for when you try to break them in bad, in a bad market environment. And I'm not pooping all over stable value funds here.
No.
I think, hey, they're taking risk, they're investing. That's why they're able to pass on a higher yield than you'd get. So they have to be able to protect themselves. But at the same point in time, you've got to understand a lot of this as you go into this on the front end, or else
I think
times like this is where the surprises come in.
I think that's where GG says serious fucking question. And I agree. It's like we lived 10 years, a decade, more than a decade, with like these very low interest rates, and they kind of stayed that way. And so this is new for some people that are kind of rookies to this industry. And I think the big takeaway is a couple of things. One is like having a good, knowledgeable, experienced advisor in your corner to kind of navigate these treacherous waters with the plan sponsor, and even maybe the participants, if they have access to some of these things, is immensely valuable. I mean, holy shit, like you could get into a lot of trouble with this thing down the line. And maybe if you got the right person guiding you, they can kind of say, yeah, that looks cool for now, but that could be a headache for us down the line. So maybe we can go a different route. And then the next scenario is we've never lived in this, in the last decade, we haven't had this kind of rapid change in interest rates. And so it is putting a lot of things upside down, and not just the yield curve. Give me a drum roll for that. It's fucking making a lot of things different that used to be the same for a long time. That was like a joke, Justin. Like yield curve gets upside down, but this is getting
questioning.
Anyway,
Greg's comment.
Oh, sorry. I always do that. I forget about the damn chat bar. I look at you guys and you laugh or you squint. I'm like, what am I saying that they're upset about? And it's
Not all your jokes are funny, JD. Just
yeah, I know that. Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Thanks,
it's good to see you
guys.
again.
Absolutely.
We love you. I personally, I'd love for you to come down and I'll put on a quarter zip and we can play golf at my local country club down the street. Yes, Chad, you want to talk work? Go ahead.
No. I have maybe somewhat. I have a request. You guys did like terms of the retirement plan industry that were shit that people use all the time that were confusing. If I think back from when you originally did that, the two of you, to now, there are 100 new terms that I hear constantly that weren't around back then. I think you need to do it again. I think the two of you need to sit down, and drink through that and do it all over again and come up with the new terms that are there and lay them out for us.
We could do that after a round of golf. I love it.
Yes.
There you go.
I'm in.
All right, buddy, let's set it up. And speaking of golf, let's go to drunk stock tips. See you later, Rick. Love you, buddy.
Good to see you guys.
See you, Rick.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Speaking of golf,
better. Nope or dope for that one.
Speaking of golf, drunk stock tips. What does that mean? That's a weird.
Like, is that like? Are you
Mark the golfer?
No,
but is it going to be a golf stock? Or something?
It is.
Well, I mean,
He's
got the title. It's I see.
How smart are you?
800 yards, Chad. You can hit bombs. Show me your short.
I forgot
I
about
want to see your short game. I know you 3-putt.
Oh God, I love that.
What happened with Tiger's kid today?
They won the state championship in Florida.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Why are you guys paying attention to
high school
boy?
I just want everyone to know out there too. We do not stop at 30 minutes these days. We don't have those shackles on us.
30 minutes? That would be.
Oh, sorry, 60 minutes.
That's your fucking monologue.
We haven't stopped at 30 minutes ever.
We do what we do, and I think there's a moment here to. I'll keep it short, Mark. Sorry, but
sure. Yeah, okay.
I learned this week that hard work means something in life. Like when you get your hands dirty and you do hard work for yourself, a little project, it means a lot. You can't always, have other people do it for you. I re-gripped my own golf clubs last night, cut off the old grips, put on the new ones. And there's a certain set of satisfaction that is a lot better than me walking down to my club pro shop and saying, hey, little Johnny, here's my fucking clubs. Here's my new grips. I want them tomorrow morning. Put them on there, buddy. Here's a $10. Here's a $10 bill. No, it felt good.
Way more expensive than $10, but go on.
Yeah, it felt great, and I did them great. And I will tell anyone out there that's putting on their own golf grips. I know Mark has a history of this. There's one key thing you need to know. The little slick juice you use to slide it on there.
Oh, yeah.
Do not be stingent with that stuff. Fucking pour it all over that tape. Put it in your grip. Shake it around. Put it on there. Make it simple for yourself. Yes, Justin. Have you ever gripped your own club?
Isn't it stingy?
Stingent? I don't
know. Have I ever gripped my golf clubs? Have you seen me play golf?
These days,
there's no chance in hell I've gripped my own clubs.
When you have Chat GPT write your monologues, it's hard. You try to use big words, you get in a flow.
Mark,
drunk stock tips. Drunk stock tips.
Chat. The 3 letters after that comes chat.
Oh, got it. I'll drink. We're not going to go through your old results. No one wants to hear that anymore. You've been killing it.
One comment on the old results is I bought Pfizer after the last show when you recommended it. I'm down $30.75 right now, Mark.
Yeah. What's so bad about that?
Hang in there, buddy.
I bought 2 shares. I'll hold on.
Ride it out, buddy.
Thankfully, Brandon found the That's what I was referencing earlier. That's powder. That's Chad. Okay. The ticker on this, you ready for this? The fucking ticker on this fund that we're looking for advice from you, Mark.
Yeah.
By the way, I watched Netflix golf car racing guys last night. It was all right. The ticker is GOLF. Acushnet Holdings Corp.
Acushnet.
Acushnet.
Yeah.
Ooh, we like that you know this already.
I used to work for them.
Interesting.
The stock is, you worked for them?
Okay, when this isn't story time, but I used to do
could be
demo days for Cobra Golf. Cobra Golf used to be owned by Acushnet Company. Acushnet Brands. They sold off Cobra to Puma.
As they should have, because their brands right now are bowler.
Yeah.
These are the brands.
Well, they recognize where their bread and butter was.
Bro, this is sick ass golf brands.
Yeah.
Titleist.
Yeah.
FootJoy.
Yeah.
Vokey, bro. Those are the wedges you need. The Vokeys.
They own these brands?
Yes.
Oh, geez.
Let's talk putters, shall we? And a member of my golf club.
Oh.
Yes. Scotty Cameron. By the way, there's a Scotty Cameron store down in Encinitas where I live, and they will not let you inside of it. You have to stand out front in a line, and there are nerds lined up there all day long with their little putter saying,
walked by there when we were down there. Yeah,
it's solid. And then, oh shit, I was on a roll, and then a Pinnacle. Anyways,
you got to have one,
Yeah, right. You got to have one of those.
It's
Diversity.
It's like Kickstart for us. Yeah.
Called diversity. So I'll give it to you, Roby. Lead us, buddy. The stock closed today at $56.24. It's been on a tear since May of 2022. Like it's really done well. But I don't know. I know you don't care about that. So I won't give you the price to earnings ratio, and I won't let you know what their revenue was last year. You just tell me this company, you fucking work for them.
It's funny because again, as a golf nerd, I feel like that brand is kind of stuffy. There's some more modern, cool, hit brands, I think, that do well with the general population and for people who like to go against the grain and are more into like the YouTube golf and stuff like that. But Titleist will dominate golf balls forever and golf clubs for professionals. FootJoy will always be a go-to brand for shoes. Scotty Cameron's will hold true. They hold value better than just about anything. Look at
how about the ROI on Titleist Pro V ones? I mean, shit, is that a thing?
Return on investment? Yeah.
Our job.
I think the V's one too. Oh, I just said it again.
Oh shit.
I don't know.
Here's what I'll say is this stock doesn't excite me, but I feel like it's I'll compare it to like a Toyota Camry. It's just something you can rely on. Like it's gonna go, it's not nothing flashy, but it's always gonna be good. So it's a buy and hold as a stable investment choice. There's not going to be a lot of volatility. I think you're good to be there, but don't expect like some crazy massive payoff or return unless they do something shocking to their clubs or purchase another company and get more involved in the youthful generation of golf.
Well, can I ask you? So I mentioned Netflix special, which I watched part of last night, which had all these mix of athletes and obviously race car drivers. What do we call them?
F1.
F1. So for anyone listening that doesn't know, like in Las Vegas, Chad knows this very well. He was at the airport last night. F1 drivers and PGA Tour, oh shit, I'll drink for that, got together and they played a little kind of creative golf event where literally like the first hole was like a speed run. They had to they all hit at the same time and then drove their carts as fast as they could to the green to putt in the ball. And so my point is obviously trying to kind of get into the younger crowd or make the sport seem a little cooler. They're cross-referencing. Aren't these positive things for the stock? Doesn't golf want to?
Yes, golf does, but look at the marketplace. It's Titleist. going into where some of these other hip, cool brands are going. Okay. But Titleist is like, it's the brand everybody sees and just goes, yeah, it's good. It's good. It doesn't fit for everybody, right? That's, again, when Titleist owned Cobra, they were like, Cobra's for the beginners and people who want to get better. Titleist is for the
and the people who like Ricky Fowler.
Yeah, that too. So it's Chad, this is not your segment. Put your hand down.
No, I was raising that I like Ricky Fowler.
We like Ricky Fowler.
I think that Titleist could change their mantra, but they don't need to. Like, they people know what they're getting. They're getting the best #1 ball in golf. They're getting clubs that are expensive for a reason because they use good materials, the best of the best. They're for players. Like, they're always going to be.
They're just cool. They're just cool.
They just know their lane. And I'm going to say an acronym, like, they're not going to be like PXG, no offense, Chad, and try to like win the market over with crazy marketing and spending thousands of dollars.
To ring him up. Here would be my fight back, Mark. I bought Pfizer when you told me to buy Pfizer. I've bought others. I'm looking at my Schwab account right now when you told me to buy. I will not follow suit with this one. And here's my sole reason.
Whoa.
What has happened to the game of golf and all of these companies since pandemic started? They have skyrocketed. And so if I go back to 2020, April of 2020, stock price was at $24 a share. It's at 58. It's seen its climb. It's seen its climb through the boost of golf, through the excitement of golf.
Right.
I think I think all of them will slow down a bit. It will make money in the long run. I think there's no better now researching it. I had no idea who they
how
were.
long are we talking?
But what you have to think too is golf used to be pretty cyclical, right? Because it'd be like when the Masters hit, everything went up, and then the golf season was over, it would decline. Golf has turned into a all year round thing, as seen by what's on TV. They're on Netflix now. It's reality. YouTube golf might take over golf. I'm just telling you, if you follow any of this stuff,
yes, I
all
do.
These guys, Bob does sports, foreplay, good golf, whatever.
Good.
Golf is now not a function of just the tour. It's a function of our fingertips, and it's about content. Content takes over everything. Now, that's why I'm saying Titleist isn't going to skyrocket, right? Some of these other brands might, but they're going to stay relatively flat.
And bro, they are like the Gucci.
Good point.
Golf, yeah. And Gucci.
Well, no, like Chad's clubs are the Gucci. Titleist is like a little bit under them.
But Gucci doesn't make every different level of product, right? Like, just commenting to Tony in there, you've got NXT, you've got different level of Titleist golf balls that even amateurs will play with. Like, so newbies coming in are going to buy them.
The stock of Gucci, LVMH. Someone help me in the chat bar. It's Louis Vuitton, whatever. It's the same kind of thing where it's like a holding of a lot of these luxury brands. And I was trying to back up Mark to say, like, those brands withstand decades because they've been around for centuries. And so they're not going anywhere. And so usually those are good bets, that long term, that shit sticks around. And I feel like
before the housing market crashed, that was a relatively safe investment choice, right?
Yeah. All right. So it was a buy, right? It's a buy from Roby and a
long-term buy, though. He's making his point heard. It's a long-term buy.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Look at how smart he's getting. Remember in the beginning of Drunk Stock Tips, he was like, "Fucking buy it, bro. Put all your money in. I'm in." And now that he's had all this success, I literally envision him now in a suit and tie. And he's like, "Oh, I'm long term on this for 10 years, so don't quote me today. Like we'll see."
I also heard
we got to start putting a time frame on it, JD. 6 months, 12 months.
You also gave him a stock he knows. Like, most of the other ones are companies that he's not personally tied to. When you said Acushnet, I was like, who the fuck is that?
Well, Chad, you're the only idiot in the room who's betting against him on this one. I fucking just dumped a shit ton of cash into my E-Trade account.
E-Trade.
Long term. Okay.
Hippopotamus.
Chat bar champion. Last week's winner was Hackler, if you guys remember, not last week, when we had a Shlomo on. How'd you guys like Shlomo? I like Shlomo.
I've been asked
I
that
liked
a
him.
lot. Shlomo was as advertised, but more fun than expected.
You know, he motivated me for 2024. He told us we need to fucking get gnarlier, step it up, be more rebellious.
Shit.
I was like, all right. We got, yeah, by the way, everyone, we have like 2 more shows left this year before the new unveil of next year's version of this show.
Season 9.
And what it's going to look like. It's going to be very different. So stay tuned.
Justin, did you say season 9?
Is
He
it?
just
Yeah, I think
did.
it is.
It is.
And we got some, you're going to see a total revamp of what we're doing. It's going to be totally different. Hackler 1. I got lazy, guys. We had a lot of subjects today, a lot of guests coming on. I noticed there was a McDonald's right by where he was staying. So he got like 4 Big Macs, maybe 6 Big Macs, 4 cheeseburgers. I got him like 3 of those fish fillet sandwiches. I got him a little. They didn't have it. I was looking for that. They didn't have it. I was looking for that. Just a bunch of random fucking shit.
Just him?
Excuse me?
His wife's there. Kids are gone, but his wife's there.
It was about $100.
Unit, man. He can throw down, Mark.
It was about $100. About $100 of diabetes. That's what we sent him. So congratulations, Hackler. You're an icon, you're a legend, and a chat bar champion for sure. I mean, I honestly think
He might be the king.
When you die someday, I will talk to your loved ones and ask them if we can put chat bar champion on your gravestone.
After this McDonald's order, that might be.
JD, he's for sure outliving you. That was funny.
No, he's not. Have you seen those shorts he wears all the time? He's gonna get leg cancer, some kind of melanoma on his leg or something.
Don't even put that in the universe, man.
I'm sorry. I love Hackler. Okay, so who's your chat bar champion tonight, Roby? I'm going straight to you. Because Justin never fucking has someone picked out.
Are you fucking drunk?
I never.
Yeah, I am.
When they're gone. But you know, my big thing has been like newer people, and maybe he's not new. I'm so bad with this stuff. But and I'm getting his last name wrong. Kyle, is it Cliff or Cliff?
Clift.
Kyle Clift.
Yeah.
Love
He's
you,
been here
Robbie.
before.
Oh, they're gone. But that's okay.
I know.
It doesn't matter.
We're 20 minutes late at most left.
We're not, Chad. We're not fucking late.
Sorry,
We
I apologize.
don't have a 60-minute thing.
JD, I've slept like 4 hours in the last 3 days.
My
We're
vote.
late.
My vote is for Ed DiMarino, who, by the way, Ed does hang out in his basement with a tinfoil hat and think to himself about the conspiracies of the 401k industry. And I love that. I love that.
Ed might be one of my favorite people that tunes in, but quietly like inserts comments all the time.
That's why I'm voting for him tonight. Who's your vote, Chadwick?
GG. We're an after show. I can say it. I already tried to throw.
We're not in after show.
You're not an after show, man.
Okay.
You have to drink.
Greg is my choice for sure. There was no question tonight.
God damn it, Chad. You just said like we're in overtime. Then you said we're an after show. No, we're not. Get with the new rules, Justin.
Lo siento.
It was a bit of a ping pong match between Greg and Samsonite. So I can't pick. I'm going to choose heads, tails. We're going to flip the Smirnoff cap.
Ooh,
nice. I like that.
It was tails.
Who is that?
Who was tails?
I didn't say who that. No, heads. I don't remember what I said.
I'm assuming it's Samson because you said Greg first and then Samson second.
I think tails
sounds right.
I think tails should be Samson because he's got a nice tail.
Yep.
Whoa.
America's ass.
Is it Samson? Okay. Samson. Ed. New guy that we ever heard of that's not here, right?
Clift.
And is that it?
Greg.
That?
Greg.
Oh, and GG. I'll drink
Greg,
for that.
Kyle, Ed.
I just got a picture from Hackler.
Picker?
Okay, Mark. Send us off. Those people, apparently your guy's gonna lose. Need to finish your sentence. Can you text me that picture?
Yep.
Okay, let's go real simple. I'm going to say if you win tonight and next week JD sends you a puppy, what will you name it?
Okay, well, I'm not going to do that, but
that's great, Mark.
But that is a good question. Yes, that is a good question.
There's only one acceptable answer here.
There only is one, Justin. You're right.
Well, let me see this.
Titleist.
Maybe there's two.
Oh my God! Yeah, look at fucking his McDonald's order. My lord.
I sent it to Brandon too,
Wait,
in case you want to throw it out.
Can you zoom in on his kid's face?
Like, what the hell's happening, Dad?
It's like, what the fuck? He's like, son, I need you to eat 3 Big Macs right now. Ooh, Brian, that's a good answer, even though you're not in the running. Nevin, I like that. But you should say Nev. That's what we refer to him as. Come on, Brian, get your
Greg
shit.
says Max.
Max, why Max? Oh, like 401k Max, like maxing out?
There's something more clever than that for Greg.
Brandon
Oh,
said
yeah,
shit.
come on, Greg.
Yeah? That's Greg's answer?
No, Max. Max is his answer, but he said yeah as in 401k Max.
He's drunk. He's drink.
You should have named it Drink.
Hey, he's kind of drink right now, so give him a break.
Where's Samso?
Baxter, because any dog of mine needs to speak Spanish and eat an entire wheel of cheese.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, come on.
Is that a movie reference?
Yes, that's a movie reference. It's Anchorman.
Baxter, you know I don't speak Spanish.
Anchorman's like the #1 movie reference quote, and I don't know if I really
sure
know
is.
Anchorman front to back.
It's all good.
So that's actually really good then. So
you don't decide, Mark does.
Is Sampo in the running?
I never
Yes.
decide.
Yeah.
Is everyone in yet?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
it's just Samso. It's just because Cliff left.
Yeah, but
So
there's
it's just Samso.
What about Ed? Did Ed vote?
Ed responded.
Oh, drunk stock pup, or did he have another one?
I didn't see
Robe
Ed
pup is
still
what
in
he
there. I
called it.
thought Ed had left.
Robe pup. Oh, he's trying to like kiss up to you.
Yeah, he's
Robe
gotta get
pup
the votes.
and drunk stock pup. Ed, that's very smart. Kissing up to the guy who's actually in charge of declaring the winner.
Know your
No,
audience.
I've never declared the winner, and you always do, JD.
Oh, okay.
I swear it was Mark. But...
Well, I choose. No, I want to choose Ed, but he's not actually the winner. The winner is Sampo. The winner is Samson. All right, congratulations, Jim Samson. We'll be sending you 28 Big Macs next or in 2 weeks. Yeah. So, all right, everyone. It's been another episode of Retireholics. And based on the hundreds of people that dropped off in the last 30 minutes, we will not be going this long next week.
I say 30-minute shows.
But for you dedicated people that stuck around, good for you. Love you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Okay, yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks. We are the Retireholics.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We are changing.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. We're changing the retirement plan industry one
Smirnoff at a time.
shitty Zoominar at a time. Love you guys. See you next time.
See ya.
Peace out.
I gotta go.
See you guys. Good luck tonight, Mac. Mark, sorry I missed you in NorCal.
Brandon, play some music.
JD, have you looked at my credit card statement from this past week yet?
No.
Oh, it's good.
Oh God.
That week in NorCal.
I'll be taking it out of your paycheck.
Hey, mister, don't call that dog lightsaber.
Her plan rendered.
Call him.
What are we watching? Please play it.
It's only us here. We can chat. That's not true.
No, he's supposed to play a song.
Oh, I didn't know Hack was still here. I didn't even look at him in the chat.
So low when I'm far away in another place, hold it out to more, just as your pillow.